And now we are recording too. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Krieg Dominion. I am Omar Krieg, your Lord and Commander of the Krieg Dominion, and your host for this, the ninth episode of Wanderers of Erewan, Volume 1, The Grimstone Way. I am joined, of course, by our traditional wanderers and my not-so-reliable chair. Side note, my chair likes this thing about every now and again. It's just like, no, you wanted to sit up here? We're going to bring you back down here at random intervals. It's slightly annoying. At any rate, we are joined by Darius, who goes by a few other handles, but I call him Darius because that's how I've always known him for a long time now. And, of course, Alturios, who I have not known as long, but he seems to be pretty cool anyway, so I might let him hang out for a little while longer.
Yay!
I'll give you guys now 30 seconds. Speak whatever it is you speak. Do not wait. Speak all over each other. Ready, go.
I had a picnic on the 4th.
Did you? You know what I did on the
Yep.
4th? I don't even remember what I did. And I don't remember, not because I did anything silly that ruined my memory, like drinking. I just don't remember what I did on the 4th. I definitely did some stuff relating to Foundry, because I got my own Foundry thing going, instead of relying on another player's Foundry, who, not for nothing, it was very kind of him to allow me to use his Foundry to run our game. But now that I have my own Foundry, I can now explore the options.
How are you liking it?
I mean, I've always enjoyed Foundry where I have used it. But those cases, like, it's been as a game master using somebody else's stuff where everything is pretty much already set up, which super, super helpful when I don't have to do all that legwork. The other times I was a player, and I do super appreciate clicking on a skill or clicking on a weapon, and the rolls are made for me. Or I have to input a few other things, like I have advantage, or I need a modifier to be applied to this particular thing. And then the roll is made for me, and it takes that modifier into account. I super appreciate that all the time. I'm obviously an old school guy, because I have plenty of gray hair to back me up on this. I've been playing role-playing games since I was a teenager. That was in a whole different millennium. That sounds like I'm so much older than I really am, but 2020, or excuse me, 2099, that was only like so long ago. But I digress.
2099?
I don't know what I'm saying. Listen, I don't understand how numbers work, okay?
I think you mean 1999.
I did mean 1999. I thought I said it. Maybe I did it. Immaterial at this point.
I've actually started playing since 1993.
Let's see, I graduated in 1994. I was already fiddling with role-playing games at that point. I want to say, I remember, I've said this before. I remember buying Dungeons and Dragons, the basic set, when it was I want to say blue. That might be wrong now I think about it. This was back when there were 5 different sets based on the different levels of your characters. And it was basic, and then expert, and then Canyon, and then master, and then champion, or something like that. I don't remember. Somebody out there is going to correct me, and that's fine. Please do. Let me know in the comments what I screwed up, because my memory is not reliable, in case you didn't already know that. But yeah, that's how long I've been around. I've been rolling dice since the late 80s, and having to not having to do the math, super helpful always. As we've noticed, I'm not very good with numbers.
My first foray into D&D was an accidental thing, because me and Pseudo were up late one night.
I remember him vaguely, very vaguely.
Because we used to be
CWI?
We used to live relatively close to each other.
Oh, you guys, yes. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
I was over his house overnight during one summer, and we had a box of D&D stuff. I was like, yeah, we like World of Warcraft. We like Warcraft. We'll just open this up, and we'll see what it is. And we just... Nope. Put the box back and shoved it under the bed and forgot about
it. Like many others, I definitely had my time in Dungeons and Dragons in varying forms, all the way up to about 3.5. I remember looking at 4.0 about a decade ago. It was in the library that I worked at while I was going to school after I got out of the Army. I looked at it and I was like, oh wow, they've tried to take something like World of Warcraft and put it onto pen and paper. That sucks. And then I
Mhm.
never touched it after that. Because the
Five
way I
is
looked at it was like in World of Warcraft and similar MMOs, you have
Mhm.
rotations in your skill abilities. And I looked at these like, oh, I have a once a day, once a scene, once a round, and whatever. And I was just like, no, I'm not balancing my fucking rotations on that. Like, just get the fuck out of here. And I was like,
Uh,
that sounded like a cool concept, but I was like, nope, not getting into it. And then 5 came out, and by that point, I was already way on my way out of, like, just moving away from D&D altogether. Not that I'm saying D&D is bad or anything like that, but I felt like for a lot of my life, D&D was a pretty good role-playing system, but then I realized on one hand, I realized there's a lot more out there, which I knew of, but I was like, whatever. But then I realized more importantly, along with all those other options and opportunities, there was many different ways to do it, and I was like, there's so many better ways to handle skill resolution and resolve a situation and establish a role-playing framework, and I just felt like D&D was far too. I'm just going to use the word crunchy. It may not be the best word to use, and certainly that word could be applied to many games. But it was
3.5 is very crunchy. Like
3.5
it is
absolutely was.
corn chips crunchy.
Yeah.
Not as crunchy as some other games I've played.
Oh,
No.
Shadowrun is right up there, but Shadowrun is also cool because, as has been told to me, and I kind of believe, there's nothing like rolling a fistful of dice when you're trying to shoot somebody in the face.
Yep.
Um, like I said, I know 5 has turned into fluff, and a lot of people who like the crunch really don't like the how fluffy 5e is.
I don't know what
Uh,
the fluff means in relation to the crunch, but it also
it's if this makes sense, it's D&D for theater kids. There's a
okay.
lot more emphasis on your character and their story, and it's a lot easier, and a lot more forgiving. We're in like 3.5. If you hit 0 hit points, you were dead.
Yes.
You had to go get revived. In 5, you fall unconscious. And if
Yeah.
someone heals you, you can stand back up. And if you get 3 stances before you actually die, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really
Yeah,
silly.
It's there was.
fifth ed doesn't feel like D&D to me.
I mean, I appreciate what they were trying to do because I felt at least when I started looking at it probably before a lot of that, as you say, fluff started coming out. It felt like they were trying to not necessarily streamline, but kind of in a way get back to what's really important, which was kind of felt like a handful of simple skills to could be used
Hmm.
for a lot of different things. Individual skills had a wider range of use,
Hmm.
which takes away a lot of that crunch that you did have in 3.5. Because, I mean, how many different search, spot, look, and see do I need to find out that there's somebody coming at me with an axe? You know what I
I'm
mean?
sorry, but D&D got better and better until 3.5, and after 3.5, it just went all downhill.
Sure. You're absolutely entitled to your wrong opinion. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm
And
joking.
then Pathfinder First Ed came out, and that was even better.
Yes,
I
because
will give that
Pathfinder
Pathfinder.
1 absolutely was what should have been D&D 4. Or
Yeah, it was like
I may have said that backwards, but
3.75. Yeah.
yeah.
3.75, but yeah.
375 is another one I've heard too. Yeah. In fact, it was actually made by some of the same D&D crew. They just
Yes,
they
they
basically
were.
said, "Nope,
Yeah.
we're out, and we're gonna make our own shit," and they called it Pathfinder. That's literally how that went.
Yeah.
Because you could do that before WotC decided we're gonna make everyone pay us a royalty.
Oh well, that's probably because WotC took notes from some other, company that may or may not rhyme with Schmame's Works Mops.
Yeah. Well, also apparently Hasbro has been cracking the whip for them to earn lots and lots of money.
Well,
So
that's unfortunately that's how it goes in a corporate world. Uh, but
yeah.
speaking of money, actually, I have no real good segue there.
I was gonna say, where it's not we're not enslaved to the corporate overlords.
But
You know,
yet
it's
here we
been a
are playing
whole
a
lot
Games
longer than
Workshop
30
game.
seconds.
What'd you say, Darius? I'm sorry.
It's been a whole lot longer than 30 seconds.
Has it?
Oh
I don't
yeah.
know.
Oh,
Wibbly
it's been like
wobbly
8 minutes, man. It's been like 8 minutes.
I know.
That said, let's get into our game for tonight. That's not the page I wanted. That's the page I wanted. Before we do previously, excuse me, let's talk about goals. We had a few goals that were met last time. Excuse me. My goodness. Um, Svaldi, you previously had the goal of do the thing the Thane wants us to do. Now we need a new one. Do you have a new one?
Was this short term or long term?
This is your personal short term.
Personal short term. Um, let's say get more than 5 arrows because I've noticed I have like 3, and I've been using those arrows a lot.
Fire more than 5 arrows. That's probably not a bad idea. Malthanric, your personal short term is learn more spells. Would you like to change that, or are you still okay with that?
Uh, I am. Hold on a second. Let me get my character up here.
That would be helpful to have your characters. You know what? That actually
Yeah,
reminds.
Adobe is
As much as I want
updating
to talk shit
still.
about that, it reminds me of a character I heard of. So I have mentioned AP Gaming Reel a number of times on my community channel. There was a player in a Rogue Trader game who is known for all of a sudden dumping thousands of experience points right before a battle because he never updated his character throughout the campaign. Except for when something like, oh, we're about to go do something and I have all these experience points to spend. Let me spend all these really quick and then I'll join the fight.
Yeah.
Henley, I don't know if you ever watched my shit, but hello. uh
Here we go.
Also, side note on that, his character ended up being a motivating character for my character in the Imperium Maledictum game I was in on AP's channel.
Oh, lovely.
I like to make continuity between other people's, intellectual properties, just to make things interesting. Throwbacks and references, all outs. Anyways,
I actually have 2 written down for the short term.
okay.
Get my wizard license.
Uh, you should have already gotten that when you leveled up to wizard, if I'm not mistaken. That's like a
Not in
requirement.
RP.
Ooh. Okay.
It doesn't just appear out of nowhere.
No, you are correct.
If
So
you're good with the
I'll tell you
pen, it
what, pick
could.
one. Either learning more spells or acquiring your wizardly license.
I'll take the wizard license for now.
Okay.
I'll go back to acquiring more spells after I get that. Do we have a short term for the party?
I was getting there. So I just wanted to double check really quick on your guys' long terms, and let me fix this spelling error I just generated. Go. All right, long term goals individually. Svaldi and Malthanric, effectively, you want your own property.
Create my own tower.
Well, I mean, obviously, your own property means something slightly different to each of you, but yes, ultimately, it was the same thing. The tower for you, Malthanric, and Svaldi, presumably his own land. For short-term party goal, recover the Grimstone. We've done that, so I do need a new one. This is a party short-term.
Do you have any ideas?
I have lots of ideas. May or may not be pertinent.
Not asking you.
My bad.
Yeah.
I'm asking my party member.
Hey, technically, I'm your party member too. Technically.
Okay, fine. What are your ideas?
No, you don't want my ideas. They involve things like go fuck yourself.
Huh?
That was a bad joke. I'm sorry. That was really bad, actually. Let's see. Short-term goals. So you know the thing's about to reward you. You know that there was a flash of green light the night prior. Clearly, there's something very weird going on because these cultists were trying to steal the Grimstone in the first place. You're here in Dwarfland, in a dwarf city. You could be doing things with dwarves if you wanted to. If there was anything you might want from the dwarves, learn from the dwarves, give the dwarves, sell the dwarves. Spitballing some different
maybe learn something more concrete about this cult.
Sure.
Also, hold on. I'm getting
Learn about what?
Learn about the cult, the people that were trying to steal the Grimstone. Almost got away with it, except for those conniving kids. That's Scooby-Doo.
Well, at age 100, I am a kid.
You're
As
like
a high elf,
18. You're like 18 in elf years. Well,
eh,
human years, I guess, would be more.
maybe 16.
Tomato, tomato. I can put down, let's see, uh, learn about the attempted theft. All right, so I wrote down learn about the attempted theft of the Grimstone, like why and who is behind it. Uh, that obviously that requires you guys to agree to it, and I believe Alturios is AFK at the second.
Oh,
That was just a quick thought I had regarding that. Oh my god, why am I going?
that's certainly one option.
Yes. Obviously, I'm more than capable of entertaining multiple ideas here.
Hmm. That seems like too wordy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it definitely does seem like there's a lot of words to it. I was trying to figure out a way to, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Minimize word count, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. You would think I would be better at words for somebody who, routinely runs role-playing game campaigns. Tends
Well,
to...
you're good at being wordy.
I am good at being wordy, yes. Volume is not the same as... Wait. Quality is not the same... Nope. Quantity is not the same as quality. There we go. Hey, look at that. I got it on the third try. Damn, Alturios,
Yeah.
hurry up and get back here so I don't have to keep tap dancing around.
I have our long-term ambition as resolve the situation with the arch wizard.
Yes, I have what is the deal with this evil arch wizard. I remember that now. I was definitely channeling some Jerry Seinfeld when I wrote that one down.
So learn about the cult.
Learn about the cult
The
is definitely a succinct way to phrase it. I'll put that down and then we'll just wait to see what Alturios has to say when he comes back.
yeah.
Well, this is where I have to pretend I know how to be a conversationalist. Fill the dead air. I'm not good at conversationalists. Like I need something like or organically involve myself. Come on, Alturios, hurry up.
Yeah, but at least you're an extrovert.
Oh, brother, I am not. This is introvert.
Really?
I am an extrovert under my terms and my terms only.
Oh, okay. That's still
Uh,
being an extrovert.
I guess that's extrovert with extra steps.
Yeah.
I would not consider
I am
myself.
completely introverted.
Yeah, I would not consider myself an extrovert in the certainly not in the traditional sense. I am not the one that you put me in a situation where, for instance, as a United States Army recruiter, the reason why I did not do so well is I was not very outgoing with people. If you came up and talked to me, I could talk to you. But if you expected me to approach somebody cold, nope.
Meh.
I could not do it, man. I just sucked. Like if I just bump into you and we could like somehow spark a conversation, that's one thing. But like just to straight up be like, "Hey man, you ever think about joining the army?" No, I fucking sucked at it. I
Well,
hated being a recruiter.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's what it is. I need a captive audience. That's what I need. I,
Well,
Sorry about that.
you've got two
when
of
was
us
I a
today.
recruiter? Long before you were born, brother. Oh, obviously. From 2001 to 2005. Yeah, long before you were born.
Sorry about that.
Yep, no worries. All right, so while we were waiting for you to return, and I was nervously vocally tap dancing to keep people entertained, we came up with learn about the cult as a party short term. Do you
Okay.
agree, or would you like something different?
No, I like that.
Okay. In that case, sorry, I have something stuck in my teeth. It's kind of bugging the shit out of me. Anyway, before we get into dental hygiene, it's not a conversation I really want to have. Let's see. Previously on the Grimstone Way, the Grimstone has been recovered and returned, and while it should have been an evening of relaxation and enjoyment of justly earned rewards, it is soon learned that shortly after sunset, guards on the surface observed a brilliant green flash of light to the east. Trouble, as they say, this way comes, and our wanderers know what, or perhaps who, it is. It is the morning after, which is always a weird way to start something, just in case anybody was ever curious. Yesterday and the day or two prior was your expedition to recover the Grimstone from secretly hidden stashes, where you learned that, at least in the stash that you guys were sent to, somebody had actually tried to abscond with it. You caught up to them, you killed them all. Well, no, you killed all but one. Recovered the Grimstone and brought it back. The Seneschal is pleased. You had an evening to pretty much just do whatever you want, because you were given instruction that the Thane would see you guys in the morning in his daily audiences. And as you guys recall, this is the traditional norm for Thane Durak Tharfark, is that he holds what could otherwise be considered basically daily audiences. The amount of time each day varies. Sometimes it's just for a little while, sometimes it's several hours. It just depends on how many people have brought petitions forward and have urgency or need to see the Thane, whatever the case might be. Today, this morning, there are a normal number of courtiers and other members of court, other people that are frequently attending. You know, there's a handful of people that are obviously here in some sort of official capacity, taking notes, scheduling meetings, seeing people moving about the crowds as they relay messages and requests for information and things of that nature back and forth. And of course, often one area is where we'll call them the petitioners, are seated and waiting for their turn to stand before the Thane. As you recall, when you first came here, Alturios, you were not in that particular part of the courtroom.
I was in a very different queue.
You were in a very different one. It involved a lot more metal around your wrists and ankles, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
Malthanric, of course, you're used to this. You've checked in. You've probably had to tell Alturios, no, can't wander off. You got to give that guy your weapon. He's not letting you in front of the Thane with that axe on you. You guys normally don't really roleplay a whole lot between each other, but Beofric's here if you guys want to have a quick little scene or something before the Thane begins his audience, or we could just skip straight to the Thane calling his audience. It's totally up to you guys. I don't know if anybody has anything.
I'm just gonna grumble that this time room and board was not free.
Say that one more time. Oh, that room and board was not free? Wow. Beofric is definitely going to, elbow you, mid-thigh or so. I'd be like, just kind of I think at this point, Beofric's not necessarily a friend, but, they do say something about those who fight together might actually become friends or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
And so there's definitely a little bit of a friendly punt in that elbow to the thigh, but there's definitely a watch your goddamn mouth, boy, kind of punt in it. You know what I mean? He definitely gets you good, but it definitely could have been worse. And you know this because he's not known to be kind about how he doles out physical interaction. That said,
I look over at him and say, well, it could have been worse.
Yeah. Beofric's probably like, yeah, fucker, it could have been a lot. I cannot get my accents today. Could have been a lot worse. She could have been hung up by your tongue. That would have been entertaining. I don't know if that would have actually.
For you, maybe.
Could be missing an arm.
Nah. We only would have taken the hand. Just the one. Maybe his tongue, too, if you kept right in his mouth.
Okay.
I'm definitely capable of shutting up when I have to. This is not one of those times.
As the first matter of the day, the Thane calls forth the three of you. And he...
Well, that's not smart. If he calls us first, there's a good chance that he won't call anybody else.
I would...
Mhm.
I'm not
I
seeing how
mean,
that would be a thing.
Depending on how our audience goes.
maybe that's what he wants. Maybe he's just looking for a short day.
It could be.
All right. Anyway,
Yes. And he says, let me see if I can get my Scottish to come out a little bit.
Nah.
Well, I seen you returned now. Good on you. Now tell me what you encountered out there as you recovered me Grimstone. God, it sounded a little bit more Irish than it got Scottish.
You're
Anyways,
scaring the horses away.
what did you say?
we encountered
scaring
some
the
people
horses
that
away.
had stolen it.
Aye. My seneschal said that you had found some that needed putting down. You even brought one of them back. So I'm not
Yes.
entirely sure why you would have done that. Could have just killed the fucker. I think in the crowd, when he says that, there's a few that are like nodding approval, and there might be like one or two who's like, interrogation wouldn't have been so bad, I don't think. And then everybody around him just like, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. You always run your fucking mouth in here. I mean, this is all like hush hush tones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be hush hush about it. I'm going to be blatant about it. I'm going to say, well, information is important, and we can kill them afterwards.
I like you. Not very much, but I like you more than I don't. Again, I got to be clear on this only a little bit. You got the braid somewhere between them pointy fucking ears of yours. We'll put them
We
to the
all
question.
typically
Don't you
do.
worry. What's that?
We all typically do.
He just rolls his eyes. He's like, yeah, we'll put the fucker to the question. You know how he's about that. But it is heard to me that Rubeld here says more to the story. And the seneschal approaches from the side and simply you get the feeling that this is probably a prepared or rehearsed speech in a way. And what he gives us, it's not just an answer to you, but to the entire court. That of all the Grimstone that had been squirreled away, he does not use the word squirreled, I did. All of it had been recovered except for one stash site that had turned up missing. He does not go into any particular details about the volume of Grimstone or anything of that nature, but of the 3 sites, 2 of them were recovered. One of them was yours, and a third that even the party that was sent out had not yet returned. Let me rephrase that. Yep, that's me trying to misremember my notes. No, that was right. No, that was right. Holy shit, my brain is working today. Yeah, so 3 parties were sent out, 2 came back, 1 have not. As far as they know, that third stash is still is very much unaccounted for. The seneschal also goes on to indicate that by all counts, that third party should have returned by this morning. Certainly by yesterday morning, in fact, given the distance they had to cover. There is a mix of, I don't want to, despair is too much of a word, but there's definitely concern and rabble-rousing in the tones of concern throughout the crowd.
And the graybeards did grumble.
What'd you say? And the graybeards
And the
did grumble?
graybeards did grumble.
Did grumble, yes. That was good. That was a good line. The Thane then, after a moment, listening to your report, the Seneschal's clearly somewhat prepared statement, and kind of listens to the crowd a little bit. He takes a moment to consider his options, and he says, and he just takes his hammer, not a gavel, mind you, a hammer on his table and just kind of he picks it up and kind of taps the table with it, but it's loud enough that it's heard. His motion is seen. People recognize that this is his way of saying, "All right, settle down. I'm about to proclaim things." And he says, "I'm definitely gonna have to paraphrase this." For the three of you, specifically for Malthanric and Svaldi, for your help, he is awarding you 5 gold coins each, and he pulls those out of a stash of coins hidden within his desk. He absolves completely your trespasses, Svaldi. Unfortunately, your branding, of course, cannot be undone. But insofar as anybody in this city is ever concerned, you've never committed any of these crimes. They must have happened somewhere else. We would use the words expunged, but now it is also he does also in a very quiet voice as he's handing you your coins. He does say, "But don't you go fucking it up. Fuck it up. I cannot help you." He also affords you guys access to the Thane's Hall proper. Effectively, what that means is you are now guests of the Thane's Hall. You are afforded access to the entire city that you might not have otherwise had. Of course, there are still some areas that are going to be off limits. Like, just as an example, anybody's private residence. You're not allowed there unless you're invited in. Yeah. You're not going to be able to go into the Thane's personal bedroom. That's just fucking weird and wrong as hell.
Sneak up on him.
Yeah. But you also, but now you can go anywhere in the city.
But I want to put a dead body in his bed.
That's not creepy at all.
We're not playing Skyrim. I'm sorry.
Wow, what a callback.
I mean, with rigor mortis, it could be a nice little present for him.
Yeah, no, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. But yeah, so you'll have access to parts of the city that you, as non-dwarves, probably normally wouldn't have had. Basically anything anywhere near the mines absolutely would have been out. Anything lower than the interface level and maybe like just see the Thane's audience and then you're escorted back out, that's not a problem anymore. Now, there are some caveats or some requirements that go along with that, and he explains this, and this is all open voice communication or whatever in front of everybody. He is welcoming you to the court as members of the court as well, with this access to the hall and the city. You will then also be expected to provide counsel should the Thane ask for it, and be present at court during the daily audiences unless duties see you elsewhere. If you object or refuse this, no harm, no foul, but you are expected to leave by sundown. And the reason for that, as the Thane explains, is that he knows that war is coming, and he is counting on extra hands at his side. If they are not going to fight whatever is coming, then they best be gone. Not because he doesn't want them around. Like, it's not a threat. It's more of a, if you're not going to stay and fight, you might want to get the fuck out of here. Because the fight's coming.
Yeah.
That's the tone he's giving. And once he explains all of this, there's a few sheets of parchment drawn up and unrolled from their cases and laid out on the table. And he lights you up with an ink quill, pen, whatever. It's a quill. You get the idea.
Yeah.
These are, in effect, vassal contracts that you will become not... I use the word vassal, but I use it a little bit loosely than what it really is, because obviously a contract of vassalage is, a lord to a lesser lord owning property and maintaining arms and all that stuff for the higher lord. This is more of like, you're going to be a part of my court, you're going to provide an audience, and here's what I'm going to give you. You're going to have a place to stay. You're welcome at any time in my hall, blah, 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 blah.
We're basically being put on a retainer.
Yes, effectively.
Okay.
And that's what this document is for. And you're given the chance to...
temporary retainer, right?
This is permanent. Now,
I can't sign it then.
well, I hear you. It is explained that this is permanent in the way that for so long as both sides agree to the agreement. I don't like the fact I used agree twice so fast, but so long as
That
both
would be a
parties.
temporary agreement.
So he's saying if you need to, you can walk out,
Yeah,
but that the contract's gone after that, and
Yeah.
we lose all
Yeah, I guess
the
technically
benefits
that
thereof.
would be that's how that might be one of those where how you define temporary, because some people would want, if it's temporary, then there's a specified timeline. This does not have a specified timeline, but it
that's
does
fine.
have the caveat of if at any time either party can, agree that this term of service is up, whatever, whatever, whatever.
What's this? Where you at? My bedroom.
Uh-oh, somebody just got called out.
See what time it is?
Uh-oh.
10:45.
Uh-oh.
What time was I supposed to get off work?
Uh-oh.
I don't know, but you told me that you were going to have a ride.
Uh-oh. I should
No,
say
I
something.
told you I would call you and I might have a ride. They may have stayed over until 6 a.m. Ew. So I need you to come get me. All right. I'll be there shortly.
Uh-oh.
I love you. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Oh, and I gotta do my fruit juice when you're on speaker and people can hear you. I don't care if they hear me or not. I know.
Well, that sounded like consent to me. Okay, I'm being a bit of a douche.
This is a conversation between your sister and you, my brother. Okay. Anyway, you're off speaker now.
Okay, I'm gonna mute him just for a moment. He can
In my bedroom.
He can unmute. He's done.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he recognizes that I just muted. I didn't want to have we didn't need to have all that.
I think he can still hear us while he's muted.
I think he can hear us. It's just that we can't hear him until he unmutes.
Mhm.
But that's more for their discretion. I don't want to. We may end up having a bit of an early wrap if he has to go and get her.
I know
Like
he's played
really
before while driving, but yeah.
Especially if yeah, let's just say
Yeah.
we might be better off closing the scene and then wrapping because of what is coming next. Not to have too much of a foreshadow, but let's be honest, we already know it's coming. It's been hinted at a few times.
I mean, because being put on retainer like that is a big choice, especially for a character like mine that doesn't like being tied down anywhere. So
I mean, yeah. I mean, let's think about this. First, like, how does Svaldi feel? Mind you, this is kind of a. There's no forcing going on. This is more
Mhm.
like an invitation. Like, please come serve my court. You've proven useful, and let me reward you with, in a lordly sort of way. The opposite, like I'm trying to figure out how I want to phrase this. I'm struggling, but when in a vassal sort of way, when somebody provides service, somebody else provides service back. So you serve me and I serve you. The difference is what we do for each other.
Yeah.
You as my subordinate, you manage my land in your name, raise a military to support my arms. And when I say, "Hey, come fight," you come fight. And when I say, "Hey, we're done fighting," you go back to taking care of my land for me. All of this land is mine, but you manage it for me. In return, I look out for you. I give you prestige. I give you a name. I give you the rights and responsibilities that go with that. You're not just a serf anymore. You actually have power. That's where that vassal contract sort of thing comes in. And there's probably a bunch more of stuff that goes on in that I am totally glossing over or not even touching because I don't, obviously I was never a vassal to anybody. But in general, that's how that works. And because you guys have proven yourselves worthy and capable, he's now affording you the opportunity to remain and serve him here. The only difference is if you choose not to, he's strongly recommending you get the fuck out of here because some shit is absolutely coming this way. I know it. I can feel it. For your own good. Not because we don't want you here, but because you need to get the fuck out of here for your own safety. How does Svaldi feel about all
that? So his original goal was to find some place in the middle of fuck nowhere, set up a farm plot, and live out the rest of his life until he dies.
Yeah.
Um,
This is a step in that direction.
this will be a step in that direction. Um, and attending land while still having control over things, because he doesn't view this contract as necessarily like super binding. Like if he can leave anytime he wants, it's not like shackles.
Hmm.
Um, so he wouldn't feel restricted, and being in charge would mean like at least within his own purview, he would get to set things how he wanted, which is what part of the goal of having your own little plot of land was. Is
Hmm.
I can do whatever I want and no one can tell me anything.
To be clear, you're not given a plot of land. You are giving a place to reside. You're getting a room.
Yeah,
You know? But you're
but
right. I
I'm
mean, this is a step in that direction where you have control over something. Whereas as a totally free, unhindered, unbound person, you have an awful lot of freedom, but no real control.
yeah. And I think these last week basically has shown him that wandering and finding a spot for yourself sometimes leads to an asshole coming around, kicking down your stuff, burning it with fire, and then putting it on a road.
Yeah, I mean that was literally the
Um,
first episode right there.
yeah. So, um, maybe at least here, away from the Empire and everything else, maybe finding friends would not be a bad idea. So, he's actually considering it
Okay.
quite a lot because it's a step in the direction he wants and safe.
Yeah.
um, I think he'd take
Malthanric.
it.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think he'd take it.
Okay. So will you scribble your name to the scroll that has your name all over it? And also, do you know how to read? I don't remember if you have literacy or not.
Let's see if Svaldi
It
actually.
does
What
have,
would be?
like, it is an actual trait you have to have.
Yeah.
The
I believe
seneschal, just and
it's
as you are trying to figure out how if these squiggles make any sense on this piece of paper, the seneschal is standing really close, waiting to see, you know, trying to be polite, but he's a dwarf, he doesn't understand these things. But he is trying to see, can he read or do I have to read it for him?
literature is not on the list of advanced skills that I have, so he
It's not a
cannot read
skill,
it.
it's a trait or
It's a
talent or
trait.
whatever. Yeah,
Okay. Well, he
it'll
doesn't have that
be
either.
okay. Yeah. So in that case, the seneschal goes line by line with you, stopping frequently to make sure you understand what he's just said, including like so basically it's not just every sentence, but every clause within the sentence. He makes sure you understand it. And every few clauses he has to go back. All right. So when you take the idea of these three things with those three things over here, this is what this sentence means. This is what this paragraph means. Do you understand?
Mhm.
Yes. Okay. Next paragraph.
So he's basically being a contract lawyer.
Yes. Yes. Because that's I mean, first off, just for the humor of it, these are dwarves.
Yeah.
Contract is almost literally everything.
Yeah.
But in this case, like because you're not a dwarf, there's a certain level of do you understand? Because we're not sure if you can understand this sort of thing. This is our thing. This is not your thing.
I'm probably living up to the stereotype most dwarves have of humans.
Yes, or as I like to refer to it, as many people outside the U.S. think of Americans.
Do
By the way-
you understand American? No.
By the way, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you. I can speak. I just don't have access to my character sheet, and I don't have access to TTS right now.
Okay. Rough ballpark. How much time do you need to do what you got to do? And should we wrap this up soon, or do you think we can finish like our normal timeline?
15 minutes at the most.
Sorry.
15 minutes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool.
That's fine. Yeah.
In that case, Darius, or excuse me, Malthanric, for you, you are given the opportunity to read your contract, which is, in short, you will be housed. You will be given certain responsibilities that are effectively be an advisor when called upon by the Thane. In return, of course, the Thane is going to grant you certain a certain level of autonomy, as I was discussing with Alturios.
Yeah.
will you accept and therefore sign your name to your specific contract, which has your name all over it? Mostly, by the way, your name is Malthanric the Elf. Yeah, Alturios, yours is Svaldi, the thief. But then thief is crossed out with redeemed thief. I mean, you can't read anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No.
There we go.
What's that?
He's basically giving me my own noble status back as a courier or a
As a courtier? Courtier?
Yes.
Courtier? However you say it? Yeah. I mean, effectively, yeah. Like, you are the very lowest of nobility to the point where, like, to really, there's a lot of nobility that's going to look at you if you say, I'm also the nobility. Then they're like, no, you're not.
Yeah, but are you really?
Yeah, that's probably more accurate. It's like, are you really? Like, you if you sneezed, you'd fall back down with the lowborn.
giving me a little bit of status in his own court.
What's that?
I'm already nobility. I'm just being given a little bit of status in his own court.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it is. Within this court, you will have certain measure of respect, for sure. Anywhere else that the Thane's word is good, you'll have a certain measure of respect there as well by association. Obviously, if you go anywhere where his word is not so good, or God forbid, bad, different story altogether. You're basically tied to him. He's tied to you. You also, it should be known, you will, if for instance, Svaldi goes back to his thieving ways, it's going to look really bad for the thing, which will require him to do certain things, like take your head. Mind you, I said head, not hand.
I know. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Ooh, what a pun. What a pun. Anyway, so in case I missed it, Malthanric, are you signing the contract as well?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. Then you guys don't have to worry about trying to get away from here.
I wasn't looking to trekking through the mountains alone again.
Let's see. In that case, it just obviously takes a while. It probably takes like the better part of a half hour to go through the contract with Svaldi, especially because he's just completely illiterate. And what I want to be clear when I say illiterate, I'm not talking about he can read, he's just dumb. No, he just cannot read, period. That's all it is. Those lines and shit, they're just lines to him. They don't mean anything. In a very real way that for some of us that are born readers or whatever might find difficult to understand. But yeah, so that's pretty much the main ticket item for the audience that day. Following all of this, as the court at some point, obviously, let me rephrase that. You guys are obviously recognized before the court. Once all the documents are signed and the Thane kind of not necessarily blesses you with, knighting you or anything silly like that, but he certainly takes a moment and he stands between the two of you with his arms raised, one pointing to one of you, one pointing to the other one. And the Seneschal announces you now as members of the court, servants of the Thane. The rest of the crowd obviously applauds, and there's a little bit of an uproar for a moment or two. A positive uproar, I should say. And after that, the Thane returns to his seat, and the next main topic is the coming war. The Thane listens to various advisors some arguing for and some arguing against whether or not a battle is coming. And after hearing what they have to say, the Thane looks lastly to you guys and recognizes that before you were courtiers, you were refugees. Svaldi, what would you say to the topic of whether or not battle is coming?
I will kind of recount the scene at
Palace
Pela's Light or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Palace Light.
And then how it was basically burned down in a day, and then how we basically had to run through the Grimstone Way to get here, and ultimately failing because of a bunch of orcs.
Because we didn't understand momentum.
But the whole way being harassed by beast folk.
Especially as you mentioned the beast folk. Maybe you give some detail of the actual attack on the town. There are. I want to be clear. These are not pearl clutching murmurs, right? Oh my god! Oh my god! You know they're dwarves. They're obviously made of sturdier things than that. But there is definitely a level of oh dear, this could be a problem. Whatever will we do as we polish our hammers? But there's definite concern. Like, all jokes aside, there's definitely a concern because while the dwarves might be confident in being able to fight whatever comes their way, there's always the thought of, well, what if we don't make it work? You know, what if things go poorly?
Yeah.
Malthanric, what would you say in this particular moment, insofar as whether or not battle is coming and to what extent that battle might be?
This is going to be rough.
Your answer
Even
or the battle? Sorry.
the battle,
Okay.
because even for the dwarves, if he got a hold of a supply of greystone, and he was already significantly powerful.
Ah, you mentioned the wizard.
Yes. He's coming whether we like it or not.
When you mentioned the wizard, missing Grimstone, and the fact that he is, for all intents and purposes, leading this army, the concerns become much louder. It actually takes a little while for the Thane to get his court back under control. Eventually, after he gets the court settled down a bit, probably has to actually grab his hammer and smack it on the table a few times. And again, I want to be clear, this is not just a simple gavel. This is a legit warhammer that he just picks up and thumps on the table a few times. Especially in this case where he actually has to thump it and then thump it and then thump it a few more times because nobody's really catching on. He says, "You've given me much to consider, and we have much to be worried for. Let us see to our defenses then. Increase the guards, and make sure that all are positioned where they need to be." Wow, my accent is shifting like crazy. What's that?
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. He then closes his audience and dismisses the courtiers. And he waves for the seneschal and some of his more senior or closer advisors. They kind of retire off into the back of the hall as the rest of everybody else is, I don't want to say shoved out away, obviously. They are certainly shown their way out, but there's a certain level of like, okay, stop talking and get to the door kind of mentality between not just the guards that are showing people through, but also the people themselves. They're like, okay, yeah, we've got somewhere else to be because obviously there's things that have to be done now. It is probably roughly noonish, 1-ish in the afternoon. You guys may now attend to whatever you may wish to do. You have a handful of gold in your pockets. You have new responsibilities and new measures of the Thane's respects, the city's respects. And you now have access to the entire town, other than some very obvious places like people's private property and Thane's bedroom and bathroom. Various other places that you should not go because common sense applies. Even you, Svaldi. What do you want to do?
I mean, if being caught again means I lose my head this time, maybe if it to try again somewhere where I'm not going to immediately get caught.
Maybe I should just not do anything like that here. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe not doing this anywhere where the Thane's name has got some good weight to it.
Yeah. Maybe save the filching for when I'm we're going up against maybe his political enemies.
Yes. Oh, his political enemies would be the best ones to go after.
Yeah.
The other Thane that answers to the higher Thane. Although technically that's not his enemy. That's just, his cousin or something.
I was gonna say he's probably used to things getting on each other's nerves
Yep.
all the time.
Okay. So you've got at least several hours before dinner time. What would you like to get into? Individually or together, for that matter.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I had to say that 3 times.
Well,
Oh.
unfortunately, the first two did not go through for whatever reason.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to file out with the rest of the couriers
Okay.
or courtiers.
Okay. And then what?
Well, where are they going?
Everybody's just like, once people leave the court, they pretty much just kind of go off on their own to do whatever it is they have to do for themselves or for the Thane or whatever. The only people that like stayed behind or didn't leave with the bulk were the senior, highest, closest advisors, the seneschal and a few others. You probably would have recognized one of them as, for lack of a better thing to call him, the head general in charge of everything military, because he had armor on and a few different markings that would have made him stand out versus a random person in armor for armor reasons.
Yeah.
So like anybody with half a bit of attention would have been like, okay, he's going off to plan whatever war strategy he has to plan.
Yeah,
Everybody else is kind of going off to attend to whatever they have to attend to, whatever that might be.
And nobody's interested in approaching the new 2 members of the court.
No, this is one of those things where there's a like, if you've ever watched anything like Game of Thrones and there's like the big court or throne room scenes, there's all these people in the courtroom or throne room, I should say. A lot of them are like really low on the totem pole of lordliness.
Yeah.
I'm the lord of that corner over there, and well, I'm the lord of that corner over there. That sort of thing. You guys are like super new. They said, cool, hey, welcome. And then everybody kind of fucked off to go do whatever they wanted to do. I should say what they wanted to do. Like whatever their normal daily duties would have been if they weren't here.
Okay.
No one really wants to, like, it's not so much they don't want to interact with you, it's just they have other things they need to attend to.
I'm going to go check out my quarters.
Very well.
And everything, all my clothes transferred from the inn to the new quarters.
Okay. You're, well, let me ask Svaldi, what do you do?
I'm gonna find those arrows. Looks like 5 silver for 12.
Oh, for the transfer, how money changes or whatever?
Well, he gave us 5 gold coins, and it's 20 silver shillings for 1 gold piece. And then,
why'd you have to say shillings like that?
Because my tongue started resisting me speaking.
That's fair. That's fair.
And then it looks like 5 silver shillings for 12 arrows.
Wait, say that last part again. Five silver for what?
12 arrows.
Is that the copper? Oh, for arrows. What are you saying? Somehow it's not coming through clearly for me.
I'm trying to find the arrows that is my personal goal right now.
Gotcha. Okay. There are a number of shops that you can visit, mostly on the interface level, like, basically the highest level before you go up to the surface. There are some more premium, might be an okay word to use, but these are definitely more for, this is where gear and goods are bought and sold specifically for members of the city, and you are now considered a citizen of the city. So, they're not going to turn you away or whatever. The quality goes up a bit here, but I wouldn't say anything necessarily to the level of like Mastercraft or what's the Rogue Trader one?
Best crafted or whatever.
Yeah, Best Craft. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, these are good. They're just not great. They're not. So I think
they're not the seconds that they like. Oh, humans and elves will definitely buy this crap.
Yeah, well, like the stuff they sell on the upper level is still good quality. It's just not best quality. If that makes sense. The stuff you get down here is better. It's just also not best quality because you don't get best quality without a specific commission to somebody to do that. Like, if you want a best quality weapon or best quality armor, you go find the weaponsmith or the armor smith and say, I want you to make this for me. And then they spend a couple of days getting very specific measurements, and then they start working on the material and making whatever it is making. Like, they don't just make best craft just to have best craft laying around and sell it on the shelf. That's not how that works. But your better craft, I guess, is a way to phrase it, and your good craft, that's what dwarves make. The stuff they sell up top it's still good. Common might be a better word, but it's not poor or shit or junk. Rusted sword, number 1, you know. But yeah, you find a weapon shop. Well, you find a Fletcher, would probably be more accurate. He looks like he's much more proficient, and experienced with bolts, but he does have a handful of arrows on display and a couple of bows in the back. And he says, is there anything in particular that you might be wanting?
I'm gonna look at my like crude ass twig bow.
Your twig bow? No, the bow you got from your fellow Tyene worshiper was a decent bow.
Okay.
It was, I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a bow made by a man's hands, and that man happened to live on the side of a mountain all by himself. But it was a bow meant to hunt for food, not for military applications.
I might feel more comfortable having an actual war bow. I know there's no such delineation, but like for Svaldi, like actually I think there is a longbow.
There is a longbow. I'm gonna tell you right now, dwarves do not make a longbow. I'll let you do the math on that.
I mean, I guess that would just even out to a regular bow.
Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to find the actual weapon listing. I know it's in that vicinity, so let me just go. Melee weapons, ranged weapons. What do we got for bows? So we have an elf bow, longbow, bow, and short bow. You can get a bow, and in fact, let me put it to you this way. So you see that what they have here are a lot of short bows. For the dwarf, this would be considered a bow. For you, it would be considered a short bow. However, he does have a bow on the back. It's got some dust on it. And there are some strange writings on it that you don't recognize. It's not, I'm going to be clear with you also, it is not some sort of magical item either. It's just been marked in a weird way that you don't understand. There is a bow. It will cost 4 gold for this bow, though. You have 5 plus, I think, nothing else. But it is again, we're in that better category bow. You don't have to worry about it breaking on you like that one you do have. That should have been making you roll to break every time you shot it.
I will.
Actually, let me back up. Let me do this. Hey, what kind of bow you got there? Where did you find that one? And he holds his hand out to see if you give it to him.
Sure. The worst he's gonna do is break it.
He might. You do hand it to him, though, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. He takes it in his hand. He flips it around a few times. He checks out the shaft, I think is the name of it, or maybe it is called the bow, the actual wooden part.
The spine.
The spine. It's been so long since I handled the bow, I couldn't tell you either. Wow, it has been a very long time. I think about it.
I think.
Regardless, he takes the bow and at first he flips it over. He checks both ends, both sides, and he's like, "Huh, okay, very interesting." And then he runs his hands like smooth palm along the side of it, like the length of it. And then he gets up to the string and he sees how the string is fastened, how it can be switched from, a strung bow to a not strung bow, if that makes any sense. Very interesting. I will give you, wow, let me get that Russian accent out here. I'll give you a piece for this one. This isn't a bad bow. It's not a great bow. It's not a good bow, but it's definitely not a bad bow. But it looks like somebody made this on the side of a mountain. Where did you find this thing?
It was a mountain man. I
I knew it,
traded
a mountain man, an actual mountain man made this bow on the side of the mountain, as I thought he did. That's funny. He starts laughing, and he sets the bow down, and he goes to the back, and he comes out with a mug of ale for the two of you. He offers it to you. He takes the other one. He holds it up, waiting for you to cheers him.
Clink.
Clink, and he just slams it. He throws it back like it's nothing. Do you drink it?
Sure.
It's ale, but it's water to shit.
It's
This is
a
meant to be
professional
drunk at
ale.
any time of day.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still good ale. It's just it's clearly been watered down. He throws it back. Says, yeah, that was good. All right, I'll tell you what. You give me that bow. You give me a few more coins, and I'll give you that bow back there that looks like a size just for you.
Sure.
I give him 3 gold and the bow. You get yourself a new bow, and you get to keep 2 of your 5 gold instead of 1.
Yay. Except some of that's also going for the arrows, which I will kind of gesture towards.
I don't know how
Going to
many
need
arrows
some
you
of
want.
those. How many does he have?
He's got he's got several on display, and some of them have different types of heads. Now, just to be clear, I don't know much about different types of bow heads, or excuse me, arrowheads. And I know there's a wide variety, and I'm not sure which ones may or may not be available at any particular time in history. Let's just say some of these have really pointy ends, and some of them have some really heavy ends, meant to maybe punch through armor from above. But there's a variety of arrows available. Some are a little bit shorter, some are a little bit longer. But there are far more bolts, and a lot of them have long, skinny, sharp tips. These are very obviously meant to penetrate armor, not crumple armor or you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
These
yeah,
crossbows
yeah,
are meant to fucking shoot right into your goddamn armor, right out the other side. So they've got the really long, narrow tips. I also don't know much. I may be screwing up the best descriptions of these tips, and one day we'll never know any better. But yeah. So how many arrows? How many arrows you want? I'll give you 20. In fact, I'll give you one arrow per shilling.
Yeah,
That
I'll just
seems a
do the
bit
whole
much.
show.
Let me see what the book says.
It's 5 shillings for 12. So
5 shillings for 12. Oh, that's
yeah.
definitely better than 1 per shilling. Yeah. We'll give him, and it's how many shillings per gold? Is it 10 or 12?
20.
20. You give me 10 shillings, and I'll give you 25 arrows. And I tell you not to shoot them at the same thing, because maybe then you need to check your eyes, or maybe stop your drinking. And he holds his hand out for you to give him the coins.
Yeah.
He takes the coins, shoves them into a pocket, waddles off. I shouldn't say waddle. He's a dwarf, but I shouldn't say waddle. Wanders off. He comes back, and he gives you, what is it, 12 you said?
Yeah.
Well, he gives you however many arrows, but they are half and half. Half for punching through armor, not piercing, but punching. So these have the heavy tips. And then the other half is for straight up piercing. Now, in my head, what I'm picturing is this heavy-headed arrow dropping out of the sky and just slamming into your plate. Not that you're wearing plate, but slamming into plate armor and having like 2 or 3 of them hitting, and that's what causes the armor to break or become less than ideal. That's the intent behind the heavy arrow. I have no idea if I'm even close to anything realistic, but
I do know like the bodkins actually looked like a pyramid. It was a really big thick pyramid, and they were meant to just kind of put a bunch of holes until the armor was just kind of useless or dense until you'd either get stuck or the armor would get useless. And there were really thin ones that were meant to just go right through chainmail, find like all the little holes in chainmail, and just zip, right into the person.
Yeah, and so he gives you the 2 different main types, like the big stabby ones and the big punchy ones. So you have, I think, 12 of each. I think is what we said.
Okay. Yeah.
And I believe you also get your short-term goal, because now you have more arrows than you've ever had. Got so many arrows right now, and options of which ones to use and when.
including
Now,
2
mechanically,
Shieldlaser.
I mean, I'm just gonna tell you, mechanically, I'm not gonna give you a difference.
No,
They're
no,
just
no,
there
no.
for
But
that's just there for
yeah,
flavor. Mechanically, you're not gonna do
I
one
was
more
gonna
less
say
damage or one less
24
armor.
good arrows and three of them that look like they've seen
Yeah,
really
well, I
better.
mean, you got like, well, like, so for your arrows, the way we explain them, like, I'm not going to factor in game mechanics. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna have one that does 1 extra damage and the other one has 1 extra armor pen, because that's not what we're doing here. It's just mechanically they're just fucking arrows.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make a bit out of how you might have different arrows, because this is a guy that works on arrows, and he's a lower level, lower level merchant. Which
I'm
means
back,
he's
by the
better.
way.
Yes, I noticed because my Zoom screen changed. That said, I believe you have about half a gold coin left.
I have a single gold coin left.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to do since you're down here in the weapony, armory, geary bit area of this next level down? As I imagine, in part of your brain is like, oh, I can wander more of the city. Let's see what there is. And again, I'm going to remind you, there are glow rocks everywhere.
Oh, that's right.
Some of them are bright, some of them are not. And there's a handful of people. It looks like there's simply their whole existence is to swap out the not so bright and replace them with bright.
Mm.
And then scurry off to wherever it is these not so bright get made back into bright.
Lamplighters.
I mean, that's basically what they are.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cool.
I have to imagine in the medieval era that there was people whose jobs were solely to go swap out torches that were ensconced on the walls throughout the castles.
Mm-hmm.
That's my only job. I have to go and swap the torches. Oh shit, my shift is almost over. It means somebody's gonna have to start over, and that means, oh boy, I hope I got all the torches.
Yeah. I'm just looking at stuff. See if I can afford anything. Armor is very expensive. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah. And I believe you only have like 1 armor protection on your body.
Yeah.
Armor does get quite a bit pricey. Although the splash is silver, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. It explains what so GC has gold coin. The slash is the silver, and then the D is the penny. Wow, I've really had to watch what came out of my mouth when I said that. So you have a single gold coin left, is what you said?
Yeah.
You could get a piece or 2 of leather, depending on how you break that gold coin down. That'll give you at least some protection. Or you could get yourself a male koi for 1 gold coin.
Or you could get a leather bracer so that you can fire that bow without destroying your arm.
That's plate though. That's definitely.
What, a leather bracer?
It says bracers, and I think that's
Am I
plate.
missing that particular line? Oh, bracers. Yeah, that's your wristband. That's for your wrists. And it is plate. But it does go on the arms. Gives your arms 2 armor.
8 gold.
But that's
Plate
8. That
expensive.
is 8 gold coins.
I'm talking about leather bracers, not steel.
Oh yeah, that would be the leather jerkin. It would be the equivalent mechanically. You could also just hand wave the fact that you got a little extra padding on your wrist for that particular.
I was gonna say, Svaldi has a 61 in bows. He's probably been using them quite a while, having been out and about. And from what I understand, I could be wrong. When you get good enough at bows, you can discard the slapper, because you don't slap your wrist nearly as much.
I mean, there's definitely things that, like, there's a certain amount of tolerance and probably a callus or 2 that build up over time. You also learn how to handle the bow in such a way that you could minimize that. Or you could just be like, I've got an extra layer of wrapping on that arm, specifically for the damn bowstring that likes to come and bite my arm every time I shoot something.
So.
Yeah, but regardless, like, you could easily just hand wave something. You don't have to spend any money.
Yeah, I'll hand wave it.
The Alfric, you'll notice at some point while you're browsing the different shops will be coming by, heading back up to the main audience hall level,
Mm-hmm.
dragging a warhammer with a male shirt, wearing a male shirt with a warhammer over his shoulder, having
Oh,
met
very nice.
both his short and long term goals now. Because
Very nice.
he finally bought his Warhammer 40,000. That was a joke, by the way, for those that don't know what I'm talking about. When Alturios drew up the character sheet for Malthanric, he didn't put goals in, or he put something in there for his long-term goal, something about earn or purchase a Warhammer, and I put 40,000 silver in it because I thought it was funny as shit. I can't help it. So he's got a short-term goal of arms and armor for the coming battle, which he has because he just purchased a Warhammer for 3 gold and a mail shirt for 2 gold. And of course, that Warhammer was his long-term goal because it costs a few gold. It's like 3 gold to get that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's his long-term and his short-term. So now he has 550 experience points before you even add in today's experience points for the session. So, let's see, that's 610 he's holding on to right now. As I update his character sheet.
I guess I could do both the leather jack and skullcap, which would, and I guess maybe sell or hand off the jerkin.
Well, I was updating my sheet, so I missed something. What were you trying to do? What was your thought?
The leather jack and skullcap, which with between 12 and 8 would be
Yes,
the gold
20,
piece.
yeah.
And would apparently only partially cover my head because it says partial.
Well, that's
And
just a quality. It doesn't. I'd have to look up specific. Oh, it even says it right here. Does not cover the entire hit location. An opponent that rolls an even number to hit or rolls a critical hit ignores that armor. Well, let's hope I don't remember that for you.
I mean it's fine because it'll have to go in the sheet when.
But yeah, if you get the leather jack, which is effectively basically a jacket,
yeah.
You get the leather that covers the arms and the body, and you get the skull cap that covers the head. The only thing you don't have covered is your legs. But who's really going for the legs anyways?
I was gonna say we're going by battle. We're going by MWO rules. Who shoots the legs? What asshole shoots my legs?
The whites running around with 100 fucking machine guns.
And then I took an arrow to the knee.
And then I took an arrow to the knee. Perfect.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Darius, do you have any armor? Because I'll just
I don't think he can wear any.
I'm a mage.
The cool thing about the mail and the leather is I believe they're both, let's see, wearing any mail or plate. Oh, I'm not worried about stealth. Soft leather can be worn without penalty under any other armor. So my guy has a leather jack, I think. Let me see, what does he got?
Oh.
He's got leather something. Oh, leather jerkin. Yeah. So you can put the mail shirt on over it and now have a total protection of 3 in the body.
Oh, okay.
And 2 in the... No, I think the mail shirt is just the body.
That's a lame shirt.
Also just... Yeah, so yeah, he's got 3 there, and now he has the Warhammer. Unfortunately, the Warhammer, it's got... I remember I looked this up because I put it in the notes. The Warhammer has a slow quality, which means, among other things, he will be the last one in the initiative to act when using it. And in the opposed combat rolls, his opponent will automatically have a +1 SL because of this Warhammer. But it does a lot. Strength bonus +6.
And I believe he has a few talents that make it better.
I don't see any.
He's got one that allows him to go for headshots. And
Oh, he can ignore called shot penalty to head strikes when using pummel. Ooh. The Alfred's gonna take some heads. So let's see, strength bonus +6, I think it said. Is that what he said?
Yes.
So that would be success level +8.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's not very strong. I rolled them and left them as they were rolled. I didn't move them around.
Oh, I've been trying to
fix.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, I didn't spend his. I mean, he just got 600 experience points. I haven't had a chance to update things. Hey, Tumbleweed, long time no see.
Are you?
He called you out too, Alturios.
What?
Well, I guess technically that is a call out. He said, "Hello, Omar and Alturios." You remember?
Hi.
You may remember him from CWI.
I was gonna say Tumbleweed sounds
Oh!
very familiar.
Blind Justice.
Oh, wow.
Man, it took
Been a
brain.
while.
It took my brain a second to remember his other name.
It's been a while.
It has been a while. Wait, actually, yes, I was correct. I was like, I started to second guess myself. Then he's like, correct. I was like, oh, good, thank you. Slightly off track though. While I was updating things, Malthanric, you've got 5 gold coins, several hours of time. You've moved stuff together, or excuse me, you moved stuff from one place to the other. Your new accommodations are not very. That's what I want to use here. They are very modest. You don't have like. I want you to imagine a decent sized bedroom and not much else.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So a decent sized bedroom, I'm assuming bed, desk, chair,
Yes,
desk.
yes. There is a so fortunately for you, the dwarves are a little bit more civilized than human beings, so that means you don't have to find an outhouse. There is I believe the term is a water closet.
Yeah.
Or privy, I think might be a better term. Like within a castle, there's usually a room that you can kind of go squat over or whatever, like a tiny ass. I think that's literally what a water closet is.
Yeah.
So you do have that. You unfortunately don't have. I mean, again, these are dwarves and they live underground, so it's not like you're gonna have a window where you can have a great view of anything. But you do have what feels like somewhat fresh air coming in from the ceiling. And a hole in the ceiling, I should probably specify. You have a vent that brings fresh air in.
Okay.
And you have a door that will lock from the inside, so you can secure the room if you feel the need.
Good.
Not very, like, you have the basic of, like, bedding. Like, the most basic. It's not anything luxurious or anything crazy, but it's better than nothing, obviously. And it's better than the inn. But not much. I mean, I'm kind of joking. Like it's better than the inn, but it's not like extravagant or luxurious or anything like that. It's just there. It's adequate.
I'm saying, in this kind of society, you're probably lucky to own your own.
Yeah, I mean, in the medieval society, you're lucky to have a room, and you guys have gotten to the point in your lives, or at least from your service to the Thane thus far, to have earned your own private room within his home. Because that's literally what this is. That said, you getting your few belongings moved over from the inn doesn't take very long. You still have a few hours left in the day before dinner time if you want to get after anything.
I'm going to go looking for a mage guild or something of the nature.
As I have stated in the past, and I don't mean this condescendingly or derogatory or anything, but as stated in the past, dwarves are not at all magically inclined. They were back in the earliest.
Yeah, but
history.
I found a clothing shop that catered to elves. There should be something at least like a hole in the wall that caters to me.
I see where you're going. I see. So this definitely would be a shop, a very, very small shop in the interface level. And for those that don't know what I'm talking about, the interface level would be the very first level underground, where you come up to the surface, where any sort of interaction between the dwarves and anybody else in the world would take place. There is a very small shop run by a very old man. Human. Very old. This guy looks to your elf eyes as though he's at least 90 years old. When you arrive, he is seated on a bench, or excuse me, on a stool, kind of slumped over a bit against what looks like some sort of writing table. there is a very faint fire going. It looks like it needs to be refreshed, i.e., fresh wood thrown on there to keep it going again. There is a cauldron, not a cauldron, but something between a cauldron and a pot over top of the fire, and in that is what appears to be some sort of tea being brewed. Now, when I say a cauldron or a pot, I don't mean one of those big, gigantic, round ones. It's a little guy, maybe about a gallon's worth of water could be kept in there. And you note that he looks like he was trying to brew some tea at one point, or maybe he had brewed tea previously.
Okay.
There are candles everywhere. That it seems reasonably safe to have a candle, providing an awful lot of light that is unnatural compared to the surrounding. Because again, everywhere else are these blue-green glow rocks that are being used. You guys don't see torches or stove fires or anything like that very often. Except in this place, there's like 4 or 5 of these candles all over the place. It is a very, very small closet-shaped hole in the wall. There are books stacked in one corner. In another corner is a very small shelf. I shouldn't say small. It's more of a like 4 or 5 levels to the shelf, and on it are various herbs and things of that nature.
All right.
There's a few hanging like leafy bits that are being hung out to dry near the fire, but not directly over it. And of course, there is a small, over on the writing desk is a small, it would be a small book that you could probably guess would be the shopkeeper's till.
Okay.
He does not notice you right away. You can enter and peruse to your heart's content, or you could maybe nudge him awake. Seems to be a bit out of it at the moment.
Oh, so he's sleeping on the job.
No, why don't you attempt to wake him up and see what he does?
Do I have a quarterstaff?
You have a quarterstaff, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I do. I take my quarterstaff and I just bang it on the floor. Boom, boom, boom.
Wah! I was just resting my eyes. Nothing to see here. I'm okay. My heart is really pitter patter. Oh, hello there, Sir Master. An elf, yes? Malthanric something.
Yes, I see you've heard of me.
Yes, I mean, new courtyard for the Thane. Yes, the blessed be the Thane. Thank you for letting me run my shop here. He does some sort of like pseudo-religious gesture with his hands when he mentions the Thane. Welcome to my humble shop. What can I get you? What can I buy or sell for you? Yes, buy. Yeah, you merchant things.
Yes. I am here to acquire a wizard's license.
Wizard's license. Oh, it's been so long since I looked up one of those. Give me just a moment, please. And he gets up, and I want you to imagine the Zamboni scene in Austin Powers. Not so much the back and forth, but how long it took him to turn the Zamboni around. I really hope you guys get this reference.
I don't, because I've never watched those stupid movies.
That's fair. Okay, let's see.
He's on
Stupid
a
humor is
Zamboni?
not my humor.
Fair.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah, no,
He's
that's
on
fair.
a Zamboni?
No, he's not on a Zamboni.
Okay.
Austin Powers was. Anyway, when he stands up, you notice he grabs a cane, and this is a cane that has a very heavy handle side, right, or the top end, where the handle is actually it broadens out to like support more weight, and at the bottom it spreads into 4 little feet to make it more sturdy for him. And as he stands, it's obvious that this guy is not. He's one of those guys that when he stands up, he looks like he might fall over for the first few seconds. And then as he makes his way over to the corner of books, it's like every 2 steps, he has to stop for a moment, not necessarily to catch his breath, but to make sure he doesn't lose his balance on the next subsequent step. And so this takes, for as little as room as there is, it takes an inordinate, wow, that was really hard to say. It takes a long time for him to get over there. And then when he finally does, he has to bend over. And at one point, he grabs the first couple of books, doesn't find what he's looking for, and then he's like, Malthanric, would you please come? I can't bend. The back is not as limber as it once was. Could you possibly hand me those books down that I can't reach without falling over? And he kind of scoots like a half a foot out of the way, expecting that would be enough room for you.
Okay.
I'm doing a bit of a bit. Yes, I do apologize, but I find it somewhat amusing that this ancient, decrepit shopkeeper needs you to move things around for him.
Okay, I'll uh
What you got, levitate?
no, I don't. I will like put my hands on his shoulders and kind of help him shuffle to the side a little more.
By help, you mean I gently shift him slightly for him?
Yes. And pick up the books for him.
Okay. It takes him a few minutes, but there's a very thin book, and the title has words to the effect of the proper method by which to apply for a wizardly license to practice magic.
Yep.
And he opens it, and I want you to imagine this thing is very much dust covered. Like, there's the very clear outline of the first book above it, or the first book that had been sitting on it. But even the part where that book was sitting on it, that part is still covered in a layer of dust. Everything, the other layers of dust are even more. So this book has not been touched in a very long time. And he opens up the book and he starts to kind of shift through the pages. And then he's like, yes, this form. Hold on. I know what I have this for. I never move anything. I know where everything is. The elevator goes to the top floor, you know. And he turns and then realizes it's a thing that takes you from one level of one thing to another level. You know what? It's not important right now. And he turns and he keeps kind of hobbling off back to another corner, which is about 3 feet away.
Yep.
And he grabs what looks like a clipboard. And on this clipboard is a form in the style of not Elven. I'm trying to think which one of my fictitious nations of this homebrew world would be the one that would have a form, and it would have to be a nation that you would have heard of. It is. Give me a
Wouldn't
second.
it just be language magic?
No. It's not a language issue per se.
Oh.
Um,
Okay.
It is a form used in what is called the Thyssian Empire. Now,
Okay.
for us, the players, the Thyssian Empire is the closest thing that the Erewan world has to the Roman Empire. It has been around for about as long as any other human empire. But they are very much what's the word I'm looking for? Procedural sort of society, paperwork, things of that nature. They are also, I'm sorry?
Bureaucratic.
Bureaucratic. What a great word. They are very much a bureaucratic nation. They in the oldest of recorded history, a few thousand years ago, the Thyssian Empire started out as a relatively small nation that every few generations would just expand suddenly. They'd conquer one of their neighbors and absorb it into their new empire. And then a few generations more would go by, and they'd repeat the process. And up to the point now where they control a chunk of land roughly the size of, if you use like the our world globe as an example, they control something like from roughly Greenland over to about California, maybe. That might be a bit much, but something along those lines, right? Like they control a significant portion of the easternmost part of the old empire, and they bump up against Svaldi, the Neorn, and they have been actually in the last several years been in a bit of a cold war, raiding across the borderlines and things of that nature with the Neorn, because they are trying to expand into what was originally Njorndas, because that's their newest target of acquisition. They also have a history of attempting to branch out into the New World, the continent that you guys are on now, and have tried several times since the founding of the Free City State of Athos-R, which is the main focal point or main point in history of the calendar, especially in the New World, where for the last 1,000 years, the city of Athos-R has stood against any and all comers that have tried to conquer it. Athos-R having the unique distinction of being a free city in a world where every other city is part of a larger nation. Getting off track. Fun fact, the Thyssian Empire is the only nation in the world that has a standing army. All other armies are usually stood up for the summer and then brought down in the fall, or maybe, as an overwinter siege or whatever, but usually they're sent home afterwards. Very much like the normal medieval era method of doing things with the military. This form that you see that the old man gives you, Malthanric, is pretty detailed for the few number of questions it has. It's asking for the simple basic things like, your name, your lineage, as far as like who's your dad, and name, son of, born in the land of, things of that nature. It very specifically asks for your, we'll say race, for lack of a better word.
Okay.
Because the Thyssians are somewhat racist. They're not racist in a way that you guys would understand it in this era or this setting. They are more of, we would recognize them as racist because they are very human centric as a nation.
Right.
Like, not even to the point where, like, the dwarves, I've shown them to be dwarf centric and not very fond of outsiders, but because that's just the way dwarves are. These people are very much choosing and enforcing very human-centric views on anybody around them, including the non-humans, especially the non.
Well, I'm an elf.
You are an elf. And there's nothing you can do about that. You're an elf.
I'm gonna outlive them anyway.
Yes. Well, at least the current government,
Yeah.
if not their whole nation that's been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
It also asks other things about, like, what kind of magic you do, what kind of magic you're exploring, what kind of magic, what do you use this magic for. It's about 2 pages long, and there's not a lot of questions, but there's a lot of, like, we'll say fill in the blank or short essay type questions, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And at the end, where you would sign it to indicate that, along with, let me rephrase that. At the end, where you sign it indicating that you provided all information as factual and truthful as best to your ability. It also implies that upon receipt of this license, that you cannot use this magic against the nation, the armies, or the assets, or the royal family, or the imperial houses. Excuse me, the royal families or the imperial house of the Thyssian Empire. Meanwhile, the old man gives it to you.
Is it a magically binding contract?
Not magically binding, legally binding. I would argue that one is definitely stronger than the other. It's just a matter of which one is in play at the time.
Yeah.
Because
I'll go ahead and sign it and fill it out.
Okay. Now, when you give it back to the old man, he looks it over, and in a way that he doesn't understand what this form actually looks for, and what the, how to double check and everything. He just looks to see that all the answers or all the questions are answered. He folds it up. He grabs a little wax dropper,
Seal.
and then he seals it up, and then he stamps it with his shopkeeper seal. And he says, "Now, where would you like this thing to be sent to? It might take some time to get there, We are kind of in the far end from nowhere, and then even that was a long way to go. I can have it out in the mail as early as in the morning. I'm sorry, but they've already come for today."
I give him my equivalent of a address.
Sure. Ah, yes, you're in room 41, Thane's residence,
Yep.
Thane's Way. Sorry, I'm making another bit.
Sure.
I stay at the Thane's residence in room 41. You know, the one on Thane's Way, right there next to the Thane's Hall.
Mm-hmm.
The question he's asking though is, I guess maybe I didn't explain what I was asking, so now I gotta rethink what I want to do here. He looks at you. You see that he takes a few seconds to very pointedly look at your ears. And that was not meant to be a pun, by the way.
My what?
Your ears.
Oh.
And he says, "Where would you like me to send this? Am I sending this to the Thessian embassy?" I'm getting my geography messed up. Give me a second. The Thessian embassy in Toriandor? Or would you like me to send this to Tunarior? Now, Tunarior, of course, you know that. That's the High Elf nation. That's all the way back on the old continent.
That would take some time.
A lot of time. A couple months, probably. If he sends it to the embassy in Toriandor, that's a few weeks there and a few weeks back.
Uh-huh.
But that assumes that there's somebody there in the embassy that can, act on this. Or they may just very well send it off to this themselves. But once
Let's
it's in
try
the
for
Thessian,
the embassy.
Yeah, but once it's in the embassy's hands, now it's officially part of the Thessian correspondence.
Yeah.
So, okay, you want to send it to the embassy?
Yep.
Okay. He happily takes it from you, sticks it in a burlap sack, seals the sack itself, makes sure the sack is solid and sound, and then holds out a hand to you. That would be, let me see. We'll just call it a single gold coin.
I hand it over.
Okay. He sets the sack aside. He pulls out the little book that he had earlier, or that he had next to him where he had, was totally just resting his eyes. Opens it up, scribbles a few notes into a new sheet, signs it, and then puts the book away and puts the coin in a bag under, at the very bottom. Even though he has to... Now, again, very bottom, he has to reach way down, which takes him a moment. He has to sit down, kind of reach, and this is a whole laborious thing. It's one of those things where it's like you could have just done it for him, but you're probably too much of a noble to do something like that. But yeah, you have your license sent for at least. It may take some time before you get it back.
Yeah.
And also, you've just basically signed a non-aggression pact with the Thessian Empire. Which they need to sign before it's honored, so...
Yeah.
Anybody doing anything else?
Is there anything else of interest in here?
I mean, there's different shops that you might want to get to. Oh, in that particular shop?
Yeah.
A small collection of various books. You may have noticed while you were helping him gather the one that said, "Hey, this is the form you use to file for a magic license." By the way, that book... No, I've already explained that book. You've noticed other tomes that are more of a historical conjecture and historical... I'm trying to think of the right word here. Give me a second. If I had a theory on a thing and I wanted to write a book about it, explaining how my argument is probably the more accurate one, dinosaurs did not have leathery skin. They had feathers. That's my statement. That's the book I want to write. And I want to show you all the ways that I believe I'm absolutely correct. And then I'm going to document all the things I did to prove it. And I put this book together. I cannot think of what kind of book that would be. What would be a one or two word phrase that describes that book? I can't think of it. But yeah, there's historical records, books, and then a few historical, let's call them conjecture or considerations.
Okay.
Was there any particular type of book you might want to see just magically happen to be in this shop. You're not gonna get any spell
spell
books.
books.
Yeah, you're not getting one of those, buddy. Nice try.
I mean, it is a magic shop.
It is a magic shop, but this is a guy that's on the back end of fucking nowhere. You're lucky he had a book that told him how to fill out a magic license.
Yeah. I figure I'll be here for a little bit.
Yeah. Unless there's anything else, we can move to the next scene. Up to you.
Alturios?
No, I think I'm good. I spent all my money.
You spent all your money. I'm good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I've still got money.
you do.
Mhm.
Believe
And
more.
I only have one outfit that is suitable for the court.
You want to get a couple more, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and knock off a couple gold, and we'll say it. One really nice, like, this would be your. What I'm looking for. This would be your equivalent of a tuxedo,
Mm-hmm.
sort of event item to wear. So that'll be 2 gold for that, and then 1 gold for stately attire. Let me rephrase that. 1 more gold per outfit of stately attire that you want to purchase.
Okay, that's all 4 gold gone.
So 1 really nice and then 2 kind of nice?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I've got room and board covered, so.
Yeah, they are. Because as you are about to find out, whenever the Thane eats, at least dinner anyway, you're more than welcome to join. It's encouraged. It's encouraged in the way that a runner comes by and says, hey, dinner in a few minutes, and by in a few minutes, like in an hour, you'll note that as this word is coming by and other courtiers are milling about or doing whatever they're doing, when word comes out that dinner is coming, they pretty much start stopping what they're doing and making their way to the Thane's Hall. And on the table...
I will follow them.
What's up?
I will follow them.
Oh, yes. On the table, you will note I have the Thane's Hall in dinner configuration. One common thing that you may or may not know about medieval halls when the Lord was in during the day, usually the main hall didn't have a whole lot going on unless the Lord was doing something, like taking audience or whatever. In which case, maybe the high table or at least the chair, the throne, whatever you want to call it, would be there. And then when dinner came, tables would be brought out so that people could be fed, whether there was a big feast or the Thane or the Lord was just hosting whomever or just dinner for the family. And then at night, in the main hall, typically those tables would be taken away and beds or cots or sleeping mats or whatever would be appropriate would be laying out for people to lay down and go to sleep if dinner didn't go until the all hours of the night. That was a typical sort of scenario, not necessarily all the time or all cases, but on the map you can see now we have the Thane's high table with the 3 chairs at the top, and then of course a bunch of chairs down the side for the rest of the table for everybody. This is the main table, we'll say. We have the head table and then the 2 not head tables. But for the intentions of seeing things that are not here, there's probably a few additional tables throughout the hall that would host and feed several others of his courtiers. You 2 are brought to the not the head table, but the main table at the end of it, one across from the other. As newest members of the court, the Thane has requested your presence specifically as part of a, let's call it an initiative to welcome the newcomers. At the rest of this table are a handful of other, we'll say dignitaries, for lack of a better thing to call it. Dignitaries is really strong, though. Obviously, at the head table, we have the Thane, we have the Seneschal, and we have the Thane's oldest son, the heir, whose name I don't recall off the top of my head. Give me just a quick second and I'll find it. That is all the way at the end of my notes. Ulrich. That's the son's name. Ulrich very much looks like Durak, except younger. So, where everything is a bit coarse and rough and grayish, on Durak, on Ulrich, it's very much smooth, full color, dark black, and very youthful. Lots of vigor, lots of energy, things of that nature. Eventually, of course, the Thane himself comes out to sit at dinner, and everybody else does as well. As the food is piled onto the table on silver platters, various meats and roasted vegetables, loaves of bread, and plenty of mugs of cold ale, there are other people. Let me back up. I'm getting ahead of myself. So dinner is served with a Thane at the head of the table, the seneschal to his left, and his two sons to the right. Ulrich is the heir. I didn't record the second son. Whatever. A few other dwarves, the captain of the Thane's guard and his lieutenant, follow down the rest of one side of the table, leaving seats across for them on the seneschal's left. Of course, you guys are at the end, as I previously mentioned. And then we have the food being brought out on silver platters, meats, roasted vegetables, loaves of bread, mugs of cold ale. I'll give you guys a moment or two to see if you want to interact with anybody in particular, and then we'll go with the main course of conversation. Beofric is here as well. He has a place at the Thane's main table. He is seated near the end, near you guys, like one or two seats up, but he is here as well.
Okay.
Are these faces basically the same ones that we've seen in court?
Yes, you've seen these.
Okay.
You've seen everybody here at some point. The second son, not as much. He doesn't normally go to court as much. The dwarves very much follow the. Let me see if I can get this right. The heir, the spare, and the prayer methodology of sons. I always find it amusing, but I feel like it's also super fucking practical as a man of multiple sons. Not me specifically, but in this sort of setting. So, like, the oldest obviously is the heir. The second is in case the heir doesn't make it for any reason, because typically the heir has a lot of responsibilities prior to becoming that could very well end his life. Typically, in some cultures, the heir is also the leader of the army. In some cases. So the spare is a very important position as well. But then usually by the time you get to the third or even the fourth son, you're kind of like, yeah, you're going to go work in the church, buddy, because I've done pissed off the local priest a few times too many. And I need some good favor with the good Lord.
Then if we reach you, the stuff's going bad anyways, so you know.
Yeah. But hey, you're going to have a great life in the church. You'll know how to learn and read and probably sing too. Anyway, so yeah, the second son, you haven't seen him around as much, but you've definitely seen, like, Seneschal, obviously. You've seen the chief captain of the army or whatever, what do they call him?
I don't remember.
The captain of the guard. The captain of the Thane's guard. Not, to be clear, that's not like the Queen's guard, slammed into one word. It's just the guard of the Thane. But yeah, you've definitely seen a few of these. Maybe one or two you haven't noticed, or maybe didn't notice as much because they weren't pertinent or they didn't interact with you previously.
I mean, I was kind of busy my first time through the.
Yes, you were.
Through the cards,
Yes, you were. One person that you would have seen that's not here is, for lack of a better thing to call him, the Chief Justice. Or in some people's parlance, he would be the Thane's Hetman. The Executioner. He's not here. You definitely saw him during your time in lockup. He would have been the one checking to make sure your chains kept you locked up.
Not really the kind of company you wanted at the dinner table.
Yeah, well, you don't want him at the dinner table. I'm not the one that stole people's jewelry. Anyway. Any particular conversations you would like, or shall we move on? It's totally okay either way. I just don't like the idea of completely running the show here?
Not in particular. It's fault. He's just kind of looking out of place.
Probably feeling a little weird every time you reach for a piece of bread. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm going to go to start eating with everybody else,
Uh-huh.
but then I'm going to stop, set my silverware down, look around, and address the thing.
Okay. What do you say?
Do you not eat with your wife or wives?
That's a fair question. And you know what? As a GM, I don't have an answer for that one. I don't know why I didn't write that in there. Oh, I do know why didn't write that in there. I do apologize. Because I didn't spell it out in my notes. Thane offers a brief smile, and he says, "I normally would, but the night is a little bit different. In case you didn't know, there was a bunch of fucking things coming after us. I apologize. I should not speak this way, not to my newest member of court, and certainly not over bread and ale. Please accept my apologies. Let me be more clear, though. This dinner is not just a dinner nor a feast. This is a working meal." And he looks around. He takes a moment and he looks at everybody around the table, kind of like one, a few seconds each. And he says, I've had the vision. I've had a vision that really, did I really write in here that he had a vision? They didn't actually write the vision itself in. Wow, way to go, GM. So give me a second. Let me make some shit up off my cuff here.
yeah.
I've had a vision. Gaforan, the Pelath light, came to me. And then this has only given me. Hold on. And this has only sold the fact that I've known and believed for many years that Gaforan was an aspect of Dalmirthan. He told me his old ward, Thassamurgalad, was coming this way. He is the one driving beasts and man, miles upon miles from his home, to come to our land and take it for his own evil will. And by about this point, several of the dozen or so people gathered here have stopped eating. A couple have kind of raised their voices a bit in protest or confusion. And
I will start eating.
and most of them say that these visions are gibberish, and a lot of what the Thane has just said is too much. That we understand. In fact, one person in particular, let's call him for lack of a better word, a chief clerk sort of person, basically comes right out and says, we've always known you've been a very spiritual and religious person, but this, even for you, is too much. Relying on such visions of dead men, dead elves even, and using them to propel your. And by that point, like the dwarf or the Thane just kind of like slams his hand down on the table. Everybody kind of jumps a little bit because when he does it, he manages to get like he gets like that perfect amount of air directly under his palm, so that when it hits, it's a loud slap.
I take another bite.
I'm just imagining like a thunderclap.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says, "I tell you, crew, and I don't give a damn what you believe." Now for you guys, and for Malthanric in particular, you know the name Dalamirthan. You've heard it before.
I was gonna say that.
Go ahead.
I do.
That corroborates what what's his name told us as we were getting ready to leave
Pelath Light.
Pelath
Yeah.
Light.
Galforan was the mayor, just to remind you guys. He was the mayor of that town. He's the one that gave you the sword and told you to come here. Give it to Thane. Durak has said that Galforhan is an aspect of Dalamirthan. Now, you know Dalamirthan, Malthanric, because he is an ancient elven mage, believed by many to have been the actual prophet of Milan. The prophet of Milan is think of it in the same way a lot of people nowadays know who Nostradamus is. Now, obviously there are plenty of people that know the name Milan, and they're going to be like, he's a fucking crack. He's a fucking kook. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, of course, tomorrow it's going to rain somewhere on this planet. Ooh, look at me. I'm a prophet now. But also those that have studied the prophecies of Milan over the last 1,000 years, there is a small but growing number of more well-educated and sometimes even magically inclined researchers and not philosophers, but those of a almost scientific bend that have realized that the prophecies of Milan have come true, and there are, in a spiritual aspect, there are a certain group of people that believe Dalamirthan is actually a face of Tunar. A face of Tunar. If I'm not mistaken, you follow Tunar, at least to some extent. Am I right? That Tunar is the elven god of magic.
Yes.
And by elven, he is the father of elves. He's the one that created the elves. You know, in your understanding of who Tunar is, and in the history of the oldest of worlds, Tunar. Let me get to my notes so I can make sure I get this right. A face of Tunar is an aspect of one of the original 12 first men that aided Tunar during the siege of Fad Halathrin, and it is said that these 12 first men were the first speakers of the original 12 houses of Tunario. So, in the earliest era, this goes almost to creation myth era of time, when the gods came to this world, and they saw the men that were here, and they trained them, taught them, showed them whatever it is that gods do with men. The men raised a city on an island in a big lake. Dark gods came, shot on everything, seized everything, invaded everything, sieged everything. Tunar was one of the few that had escaped, found some of the old men, and by old I mean old like first men, old men, not old like old, ancient, aged. Yeah. Found some old men who had helped him and blessed them, and they became the progenitors of the elven race.
Okay.
So, going back, a lot of people think Galforhan, especially this dwarf, believes that Galforhan is an aspect of Dalamirthan. Dalamirthan, in turn, is believed to be a face of Tunar. These aspects, they show up throughout time, throughout history, for certain events or certain things. They come, they leave a message, they go away. And some argue, some show proof, somewhat unreliable or tenuous, but some believe that one of the times Dalamirthan showed up in one form or another, he showed up as the prophet of Milan. And a lot of those prophecies have been coming true in the millennium since. As with anything in history, there is one side, and there is an equal and opposite side. So, of course, all of this, there's many that would argue that it's all garbage, it's all rubbish, don't believe it. It's bullshit, it's made up, it's fantasy. Do what you will with that information. Meanwhile,
in between bites,
yes,
I will mumble to myself, "Foolish dwarves."
I did not hear what that was. I know you mumbled it on purpose, and that's fine, but now I need to actually hear what you said.
Foolish dwarves.
Okay. Is that you dismissing it, or is that you dismissing it so it doesn't seem like you're one of the crazy ones? You know, the crazy ones who know the truth.
No, that's me taking the same side.
Okay. Oh, taking the faint side.
Calling
Oh,
the
oh,
rest
you're
of
calling
them
the other
fools.
dwarf a fool. Okay, I got what you're saying. There is much back and forth. The Thane eventually calms down enough to actually continue or to resume eating, but still will from time to time say things, you know, in defense of his claims or to make yet a different claim relating to something else previously claimed. Beafric, meanwhile, kind of gives you a little bit of some background as well, and I'm going to paraphrase this too because there's a lot here, but basically that uh, Beafric explains that Durac's faith in the old gods is founded or based on three main things. Durac's father was a priest in the Order of Jorman, which is devoutly tied to the old gods, which Tunar is as well. I mean, a lot of the old gods and the new gods, or excuse me, the old gods. I'm getting myself. Regardless, old gods, old gods, old gods, old gods. Durak has long claimed to have had secret knowledge of the location of the Hand of Garondin, though an expedition to find that relic never returned. The Hand of Garondin is, let me rephrase that. The Garondin is the original dwarven god who, going back to that same era in time when Tunar founded the 12 houses that became elves, Garondin was torn apart by basically the dragon equivalent, or the dragon god is one way to look at it. And his body parts were flung across the entire world. And some dwarves believe that if those parts were found, they could be brought back together and Garondin be resurrected. And then, of course, once that happens, dwarves, Holy Land, prayers answered, miracles performed, all that craziness. Lastly, in his youth, more than a century ago, Durac and Galforan studied together under the tutelage of Master Aselian, wherein while Galforan was a wizard's apprentice, Durac was learning the secrets of leadership and trade as requested by his father. Ever since that time, Durac often expressed his belief that Galforan, as potent with magic as he was, had to be an aspect of the ancient Dalamirthan. This is all coming again from Beafric to you guys. Because I imagine he's, if not sitting between you, he's sitting close enough to, you know, lean over and mutter some of these things to explain why Durac seems so adamant about things he's espousing right. And now, especially for Malthanric, you know what the connection is between all of these people. Galforan, Durac, and even your own master who sent you out here in the first place.
Yep.
Svaldi, any thoughts on all of this as you are picking up, you know, all these different bits of information that may or may not seem overwhelming as a follower of the old gods, and in particular Tyene?
Mm,
It's okay if you don't have anything. You're just like, I'm here for the ride, bro. It's okay if that's the answer. I just wanted to see if you had anything.
nothing. It's a lot.
It is a lot. This is meant to be a lot. You've just fallen into the very first layer of dwarven politics and also spirituality.
No, just tonight. He's just gonna just keep eating. Because a lot of that's like apart from names and some maybe some bigger concepts. A lot of words.
Yeah, I mean, Galforan is probably the only name that really stands out for you. You may or may not have heard of Dalamirthan or the Prophet of Milan. I don't think you would have known who Master Aselian is at all.
Mm-mm.
Um, that said, it is not much longer as this back and forth between two different opposing views on the Thane's visions and spirituality amongst the dinner goers here. It basically kind of goes back and forth, and then finally it starts going back up to a crescendo again. And finally, one more time, Drax like, okay, enough, goddammit, listen. And he slams his fist down on the table again. He says, listen. And I'm paraphrasing, and I'm not doing accents for this one. The scroll that Galforian sent here was simply a reminder of an older time, a quiet time, of when oaths are made when there is little fear, and taking such oaths is easy. But this is no easy time, for if Galforian sent this reminder, then surely the time to act on such vows is now. Scouts have had little to report but for the green flash in the sky, and what could be considered an uptick in movement in both orcs and gore. Surely, however, something is happening and we must be ready. Therefore, all guard forces and the arms that can be brought from the clan will muster now and stand to make ready to repel attacks. Word has already been sent to clans Thorgdoom and Drotho, but their replies will take yet a few days. It stands to us to remain resolute, to protect the Grimstone, to protect the clan halls, and to preserve the families lest they fall. And now he starts handing out assignments. And he's got that tone of voice that even everybody at the table recognizes, like, okay, he's made up his mind, he's giving orders now. There is no rebuking this. There is no stepping up to this unless you have unless you can present a viable alternative. You best just keep your mouth shut and do what you're told. Beofric and Malthanric and Svaldi will form one group who will keep watch on the Grimstone. You have already been exposed to it, and though the Thane is hesitant to make your exposure worse, his argument is better that those already in its lure be kept to it so that the pure may remain so. He's referring, for those, if you don't remember, he's referring to the corruptive nature of Grimstone. Basically saying, you've already been touched by it, best to keep you at it, and instead of having more people get touched by it. Another...
Makes sense.
Sorry?
Makes sense.
2 other teams will be selected. Where am I? 2 other teams will be selected from those worthy to guard the remainder of the Grimstone, while the rest of the army, such as it is, will stand to and defend the surface gates, ensuring none enter and none leave without the Thane's approval. He then basically leaves the rest of the dinner up for discussion to refine his basic plan. And the conversation just kind of goes wherever at this point. If you have any questions or comments or anything you want to bring up at dinner, now is the time.
Is anybody else still disparaging the thing?
No. Dave, I think everybody you kind of get a hold on, let me try that again. You get the feel that anybody that might have spoken out anything regarding the spirituality or the veracity of his statements, anybody that might have said anything about that, once he slammed his fist down that second time and started going into why we're doing this, everybody's like, okay, you know what? Yeah, all right. End of the day, this is what we have to do, period. Like, can't deny that there is something weird going on right now, regardless of anything that happened 1,000 years ago. That's kind of the gist of what... The rest that weren't really stepping out against him, or speaking out against him, I should say, they, like, once he slammed his fist down, he's like, okay, yep, game on. Immediately.
Okay.
There are a few mentions from various guardsmen or the captain and his lieutenant of, hey, maybe instead of putting 3 or 4 guys over here, maybe we should put 4 or 5, or things of that nature. But beyond that, it's a lot of the, like, logistical and detail oriented kinds of comments at this point. Again, refining everything. But if you have anything you want to bring up, especially regarding your own specific assignment, this is the time to bring it up. Beofric is just looking at the 2 of you, hoping that you understand what's being asked of you. And I want to be clear, he just looks at you 2 and he says kind of quietly, so that your guys' little conversation doesn't overpower anybody else's conversation. And he's like, you know what he's asking, right? You do, don't you?
May have been
For us to guard the Greystone.
To give our lives if we must. Make sure it's not taken by those fuckers that come down this way.
Yeah, that's part of guarding the Greystone.
Good. He lifts his mug towards you and takes a big hit of it. Nah, I shouldn't say hit. Takes a big chug of it. He's just like,
I just give him this like tilt the head, weird, like, what are you thinking?
I'll tell you another time if maybe I won't have to after this fight. Then he looks over at you, Svaldi, to see if you're following along or not.
I thought of something funny, but I'm
No,
not
no.
sure if I should.
Listen. I appreciate funny, but also,
Um,
as you feel is pertinent.
I was gonna say, whenever someone gets too distracted, maybe a little piece of food that Svaldi actually really liked has gone missing from their plate. Um,
Ooh, let me take that tender cut right there, right off of your plate.
he's way too busy being invested in what he's doing.
Clearly, him trying to make his argument about how the Thane might need to be set down somewhere quietly and give him some cold water is more important than watching the meat on his plate. That is such a fucking Svaldi thing to do.
um, it's got a question of like whether he's had to fight orcs or gore before.
You're asking if Biafric has?
Yeah.
Hey, laddie, I've killed more than a few of them fuckers. He's referring specifically to the orcs, but he doesn't actually say that.
At that language, I'm going to assume he meant both.
He definitely gave an answer that made you feel like he's killed plenty. Now, when he's done that and what exactly he's killed, unless you ask that, he won't say much more.
It was more just if he hadn't seen the gore, I was going to tell him like how they seem to fight and seem to act. But if he's feeling, if he was being confident, I wouldn't bother.
Yeah, he's definitely putting on a strong confidence. I like that. I mean, you've also fought with him against the cult. I don't remember what he did specifically. In fact, I don't remember what you did. I just remember that fight being over much faster than I thought it would be.
That wizard took a arrow to the chest and wasn't very happy after that.
No, I was not. Oh, you meant the wizard.
um, he's gonna assume that from Bearfrick's response that he's got things mostly in hand. So yeah, keep on eating.
All right. Any other items before I move on? Final bit.
Yeah, I make sure I finish my meal.
We'll see about that. As dinner comes to a sudden close, because word suddenly ripples down from the surface. Another green flash, this time followed very closely by the rain of fire arrows that has already left a mark in the forces defending the gate. The Thane is immediately incensed and ends dinner on the spot. It says basically, the fuckers are here. Get everyone to the gates now. Get them all up there. And he's like just bashing on the table. Like at one point, he just picks up a table or a plate and just like shoves it away. He's like, fucking bullshit. Fucking whatever, fucking Ungor or whatever the fuck. Like he's furious.
You've just interrupted my meal.
Yeah, like I mean, there's been plenty of conversation, right? And if you've been eating and talking, you've gotten both, right? But the thing I feel like has been definitely more talking because everybody wants to argue them, and then suddenly they decided to finally start listening as he explains. Yeah, so he's probably had a few good bites, but now he's like, God damn it! So like, in fact, I think if anything, you just see him grab like a chicken leg or something like that, and storms off into his other room so he can go put his war gear on. The Thane ends dinner and bellows for servants to get him armed and armored, and then disappears. It generally, like everybody else is like, oh shit, in dwarf, and everybody starts scrambling for their gear to get armed and armored, and then to get to wherever they have to go. The one of the lieutenants at dinner approaches the three of you, meaning you two and Beofric, and introduces himself as Lieutenant Argor. He is the adjutant, the guard's captain, and he will be coordinating the teams that are guarding the Grimstone below.
Excellent.
And he says, go get geared up and meet me back here pronto. Obviously,
I reach over, grab my quarterstaff, and say, I'm ready.
well, yes. He just looks at you with. I want you to imagine a Vulcan looking at you and then quirking an eyebrow.
Fascinating.
Yes, yes. And then he looks over at Svaldi. He's like, I suppose you are not ready yet. And he looks
They
at
would, they wouldn't
Beofric.
have. I was gonna say they wouldn't have allowed me to bring my bow,
No,
would they?
they wouldn't allow weapons into the Thane's Hall for dinner.
The
only way you get to show up in front of the Thane with a weapon is under very specific circumstances. Or if you are a guard. Or I guess being a guard would be one of them.
Yeah.
This is just a walking stick.
You're okay with the quarterstaff, Gandalf the Grey with a walking stick.
I was gonna say I'm like the things. Well, with Jordan resistance to magic and the fact that the thing is probably wearing some pretty hefty armor, he's probably not scared of a quarterstaff.
He's not wearing armor right now. Well, he's got like half of a leg piece on, but
Yeah.
But yeah, so Lieutenant Argor is basically like, go get ready. I'll be back. We'll meet here. You've got like 10 minutes. Shit has hit the fan. There's a couple dwarves kind of milling about. You recognize that these are probably going to be going down into the stashes with you.
Lieutenant, how do I get to my post?
I'm sorry?
Lieutenant, how do I get to my post?
I will take you down there myself momentarily. Momentarily. I want to show you what you will be looking at when we return next week.
Yay!
These are...
Ooh.
There we go. Okay.
I like that. Those are like ant tunnels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, from a dwarven perspective, that's almost exactly what they are, except they're dwarven tunnels instead of ant tunnels. That is the stash sites. Up here, where my hand is, up in here, that obviously leads up to the Thane's Hall. And then once you're up there, obviously you can get to the Thane's dinner hall and whatnot. But that's where the fighting will be taking place. You guys will be placed... you don't know this right now, but eventually when you come back, the lieutenant will place you. You guys will be in this particular one. There'll be another team here. And another team over here. That will be your fight. Or when the battle begins, when we return next session.
Okay.
Go ahead and take 80 experience points, plus any that you may have gotten from your any goals that you made.
Short term is
Or
25?
Short term is 50.
50.
I'm going to verify. No, it is 50. Let me see what my notes say. I'm pretty sure I wrote it in there.
Yeah, short term is 50.
Yep. Short term goals is 50. If you made any long term, it's 500.
And we're getting 80 for the session?
Correct. You are getting 80 for the session.
So 130. Okay.
Add up. Which means I will get to be able to spend XP on Balfric for the fight instead of fighting a little bit and then spending more XP. 600 experience. I think he's going to have enough to level up to whatever the next level of Bounty Hunter is.
Nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because I think I got all 5 advances for the skills. I got all 5 advances for the characteristics. I've got definitely have at least one of the talents, if not more than one. I think he's going to be moving more advances so he can shit. That said, what kind of feedback, outro thoughts you got? Starting with Malthanric, also known as Darius or
Yep.
Lucian.
I am looking forward to next week.
Oh,
This
my.
was a great RP session.
It was, and like when I wrote the prep for this, I've explained this a few times. I don't remember who has or has not heard this, but usually I prep a certain amount that may or may not be more than a single session's worth. I just kind of prepped out dinner, well, the reward, the dinner, and then the battle. And in more or less, basically, that's the end of the tricking campaign. But it did work out nicely that we ended up having a very much roleplay centric session than we had anything else. And I really like it. I love a good narration. No, I shouldn't say narration. Good narrative story.
Yeah.
Anything else, Darius?
That's all I had.
All right. Alturios, Svaldi, Icarus in some other places. What do you got?
It's been a wild ride. He's gone from free room and board, but I'm about to die, to having to pay for his room, to getting free room and board. So he's really happy.
And also about to die.
No, no.
The battle's coming. You could die. Wow, the world really is circular, isn't it?
We who are about to die salute you.
Yes, yes. Speaking of death, I mentioned this to Alturios briefly before Darius showed up. Pre-game, that is. Just so we're clear, from this point forward, if you die, you die. There is no coming back. There is no new character. That's just it. And if you both don't make it to the end of the campaign, this is the end of the campaign. So,
Yeah.
we are in, as I've mentioned, we are in the end game. I do envision roughly 2 to possibly 3 sessions remaining, depending on how the battle goes. So hopefully you guys manage to outwit me, which, let's be honest, it's not hard to do. Just know the rules better than me. That's it. Which, again, is not hard. So outwit me, and you will probably win. And then, unless the dice totally favor me, and let's be honest, as a GM, have you ever seen that happen?
Actually.
With me as the GM, the only person.
Yes.
When did I beat you by the dice? Consistently. I have a reference.
I mean, there was like the first.
There have been entire sessions where you rolled good and I rolled bad.
That might be true, but I was thinking of all the times that Foehammer took headshots from me.
Yeah, that too.
Sorry, Foehammer, if you're watching this. You knew I had to get one more headshot dig in on you, you son of a bitch. I plugged him with headshots so many times in a single battle, by the way. I think it was like 3 separate headshots. It was ridiculous. Just absolutely ridiculous. Anyways. But yeah, so once we get going on the next session, once the battle begins, whatever happens, happens. So hopefully you guys can find ways to be prepared, and hopefully you can roll better than me, because we're in it. We are in it.
We got all those fate points and all those fortune points and all the resilience and resolve stuff that we did.
I love how you threw all 4 in there just to make sure your base is recovered.
Yeah, so
you do have plenty of options. That is true. I mean, as a group, you have plenty of options. Unfortunately, Malthanric only has 1 fortune. That's it. But fortune does regenerate at the next session. So, not that I'm trying to have like 1 round of combat go 16 sessions.
But now is the later for when you saved all your health potions, I guess, right?
All I can say is this: you must gather your party before you continue from this point.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any side quest shit, you might want to do it now. Oh wait, I already gave you that chance. That was before dinner. Any other final thoughts before we wrap?
Don't wrap.
No, I'm not gonna wrap. I'm going to WRAP. Alright. Well, that is it for us here tonight. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed the show. I certainly did. I can't wait to get this battle going, because I'm pretty sure some gore are going to eat good. Totally forgot where I was going to go with that. But thanks, Tumbleweed, for the sub. Tumbleweed, we know you as Blind Justice in other parts of the internet, where we throw robots at each other and see what sticks. We don't do that anymore, of course, but once upon a time. That said, stay safe out there, my friends. This world is a grim, perilous world, so make sure you're doing what you got to do to take care of you. And as for me and mine, we are out of here. See you next time. Good one.
Quit eating my turkey, you fat